greetings and Happy New Year, fellow Watford supporters. Happy New Year. And the Golden Boys start 2026 off in the very right direction as we get a 3-0 victory over Birmingham City today at the Vic. What a way to start 2026. Fellow Watford supporters, welcome one, welcome all of you to the You ORNs Watford FC post-match, the first one of 2026, the first of the year. Thank you very much. Wishing you all a happy new year. I hope that you made it into 2026 safely. Well, Watford certainly did. And goodness gracious me, I got up late this morning after a New Year's Eve festive fun and woke up and realized Watford were up 1-0 after just, 11 minutes or so? But they scored in the 9th minute. Tom Ince's goal, and he set the stage for a marvelous Watford performance today from him. His second hat-trick as a Watford player. He got one in the Carabao Cup a season or two ago, but my goodness, it's his first hat-trick I remember in the Championship for Watford. He absolutely got the job done today. Of course, the You ORNs man of the match, of course, is Tom Ince. And I've been telling you about Tom Ince and how I've liked him in the starting lineup. Javi, trusting his instincts as ever and putting Ince in the starting lineup. He has made a real difference. He had a nice game against the previous opposition a few days ago at Vicarage Road. And today he just was absolutely on mark. He could have had 5 goals today for us, but a hat-trick will do. It is very, very good that Tom Ince has done that for us, and it's a different hero every single match now. That is a sign of a team and a club that are really going places in this championship. Watford up to 4th today after Watford 3, Birmingham 0, a comfortable win and another clean sheet. Back-to-back clean sheets for the Watford supporters. How about that? And 3 in their last 4. That is a team going places. Fellow Watford supporters, please, if you would like to have your say, hit the request button and I will put you in, and I will be reading your comments on X as well if you don't want to come on board and you're one of the shy sort. But don't be shy. You are amongst friends here on the You ORNs Watford FC post-match. I want to read from Matt. Happy New Year to you, Matt, on YouTube. Come on then, says Matt. 4 wins in a row, 12 points in 11 days, top 4. Let's go. Plus, Happy New Year, Omar. Matt, thank you very much. Happy New Year to you, as I say. Matt, that was a really good one, wasn't it? Comfortable performance. We were assured. We were confident. We were competent. We were coherent. And we were classy. The 4 C's and 4 wins in a row. That's right. I think you have to go back to the 2021-22 season to find Watford winning 4 in a row. Certainly, you have to go back to the 2018-19 season when Watford won 4 in a row. The first 4 games of the Premier League season in 2018-19 under guess which manager? The Sangria Man, Mr. Gracia, who has done it again at the Vic. My goodness me, Watford are absolutely rolling today. We were great in all facets of the game. We brought in players. We didn't lose a step. I thought Watford were very strong today going forward. We made the right decisions. We just didn't get the right finishes at times. But you see what these lads are doing, and they're doing it very well right now. Again, another great game from Cipriano. The back 4, he tended to them very well. The defensive pairing continues. Elaine and Pollock didn't miss a beat today, just 2 or 3 days after playing against Norwich. This was a well-oiled machine today, and these lads are growing. The confidence and the belief are there, and this team now finds itself in 4th place. In 4th place, starting the new year with this very strong victory, another clean sheet. We are flying, and Matt says on YouTube, Tom Ince on fire, and he continues on YouTube. Birmingham, come, they saw and got stung by the Hornets. Marvelous stuff from the marvelous Matt. Matt the Marvelous today. And I got to say, Matt, and everybody else listening and watching, that this performance again underlines a very serious challenge now in these playoffs. And listen, I said this after the summer business was done, that Watford would make the playoffs. I was not prepared to go any further than that with my prediction. And there were lots of Watford fans, I'm sure, who were looking at this as the scenario for them. But of course, when the season started, it got really rocky for us. We didn't look sure. We didn't look confident in the first few games, but what a transformation over these last 16 games by Javi Gracia. An absolute masterclass today from the man who brought on Quadro Bar in the second half. Welcome back To you, Quadro Bar, Happy New Year to you and to all at Watford. This was a really good performance. Iran Kunda came off the bench, looked absolutely marvelous again. He's not missed a step. He can come off the bench anytime he wants, and he makes an instant impact. He was instrumental, of course, in the third goal that Tom Ince scored. Remember, he got the assist for that third goal, a cracking shot from Ince that left that Birmingham goalkeeper with nothing to do. He had no choice but to watch it go over him into the back of the net. And by the way, that goalkeeper didn't do bad for them today. Made some critical saves that could have, if he hadn't made them, given Watford an even larger win. But you will not worry about that now, fellow Watford supporters. I want you to have your say. Come on, man. It's New Year. January 1st. Where are you? I guess you're still having a bit of that champagne hangover, aren't you? I know that what a night. I mean, I got up too blooming late to miss the first few minutes of this game. But I am glad I saw the rest of it. And Watford fans, come on, come on. Let's be having ya. Delia Smith. Oh, Delia Smith, Norwich City. Where have you been? By the way, Norwich, I think they won today. If you can, I mean, anyway, I'll look at the score lines in a minute. But we've got some really, really good footballers today. And we've got some very dangerous footballers now. This team looks dangerous. Nobody wants to face us now. And we have all the results going for us. And when you're going well, that's what happens for you. All the results went our way today. Coventry held by Charlton 1-1. Derby County beat Middlesbrough. And I told you, you cannot trust Middlesbrough in a big spot. I said this to you after the You ORNs post-match last time out. I did not believe in Middlesbrough holding up automatic. And listen, there's a long, long way to go. But I was not looking at Middlesbrough very favorably as an automatic choice, even though that's where they were. In a big spot, you can't trust Middlesbrough. They play well and they do well, and then they fall out of the pack. And now, after their defeat at Derby County today, they absolutely have fallen out of the automatic places. And Hull City right now in 11 minutes of injury time are still trailing Stoke at home. And that's where we next go on Sunday, to Hull City and Humberside. Hull 0, Stoke City 1, and they're still playing 11 minutes of injury time. That is where we are right now. Ipswich did beat Oxford 2-1. And Oxford had a draw briefly in that game before Ipswich responded. So Ipswich are right up in it. And I did say that Ipswich over these last few weeks have looked very solid. Preston beat Sheffield Wednesday. You were hoping for a draw or something worse for Preston there. But they have absolutely got that win emphatically. QPR won Norwich 2. So QPR, we're not worried about. Norwich do get that win. Southampton 0, Millwall 0. That result went our way. From a Millwall perspective, we were very, very happy there to see Millwall get a 0-0 against Southampton. And so everything is going our way right now. And that's the thing you love about the way we are playing football. In fourth place, a +8 goal difference, 4 wins on the spin, 1 defeat in our last 13 games. We're above Hull City, who are our next opponent, who, again, Hull City, I've got to say, really, really are right in the thick of things right now. Watford are playing Hull on Sunday at up at their, I think it's the KP where they play, up on Humberside there, I think it is. And so Watford will go there on Sunday. Now, we made one change to our starting lineup today, and usually the rule is you don't make changes in your starting lineup. But the bottom line is today, Jeremy Ngakia was not in the starting lineup, wasn't even in the squad. No news of any injury that I can discern. I looked and looked and looked, couldn't find anything. It looks like he was just giving Jeremy Ngakia a rest with this busy schedule of fixtures, and it makes sense. And so what you had instead was a Banquer who performed well, I thought, when he spelled Ngakia on Monday at Norwich. And Ngakia today, a Banquer, pardon me, today was superb at right back. Absolutely played that position well. He made a challenge toward the end of the game that you were worried if the referee was going to point to the spot. But this referee today, I thought, was very good. He let everybody play. I was loving what he did. The referee was good today. We've had a decent run of referees of late, I think. There was maybe one of the last 4 or 5 games where we had a referee who didn't fit the bill. But I thought this referee let everything go. He had the temperature of the game correct. Birmingham City looked out of shape. Of course, they did not have 2 or 3 of their best players, Damari Gray, who really killed us just a month ago, exactly a month ago on December 1st. at Birmingham. Scored twice in that game. He was not in the side. He was injured. And there was another player who was a factor that day that was injured. And the manager who was a factor that day was up in the stands on a touchline ban. And so he was watching from the higher reaches of the Sir Elton John stand. And so he did not have the impact either. And Birmingham looked really ordinary. We made Brum look really ordinary today. They had no gravy. They had no seasoning. They had nothing up there today for us to be worried about. And it was a comprehensive victory. I actually thought the second half was rather boring. I mean, it wasn't boring, but you know what I mean. There was no drama. And it's nice to have a game where there is no drama, because that usually means that we're doing all right. And so Watford go from strength to strength here. Your golden boys and my golden boys and our golden boys get the job done again at Vicarage Road, starting out the year absolutely right. Really good performance. I loved our shape today. Our defensive game was very good. No real worries at all. We were back to front, very good on the ball, off the ball. Our transition to attack was very good. The goal that we got, I think it was the third goal that Tom Ince scored for the hat-trick, was an absolute counter-attack. Really good counter-attacking, good sucker punching of Birmingham there. I thought our shape was good everywhere on the pitch. I loved the way we played. Our pace was good, both defensively and going forward. I loved our orchestration. We were very methodical in the way we played the game. Tactically, we were sound. Luca was very good today, even though he didn't get the goal. I thought he made effective runs into the box and in and around the box. And I think what you saw from Luca today was an auxiliary. He was playing more on the left a lot of times. He was the outlet pass. He was the one that facilitated and moved the play forward in the upper reaches of the final third. He brought people into the play, was a much more of a link-up type player today than he was a focal point. It looked as if the featured player was obviously Tom Ince. The tactical decision, I think, was obviously to get Ince up and running and have him as the secret weapon for Watford, and he was more than that today for us. He was not only a 007, he absolutely fired all three of those goals really nicely. And as I said, he could have had 5 today in this match. But you know what? You take what you get. A hat-trick is very, very nice for him. It opens up our lineup. It opens up the play. We've got danger, danger, danger from every area of our pitch. And that's what makes things special now. We've got at least 3, I make it 4 off the top of my head, Watford players who have been sensational in terms of their number of goals. They've all scored at least 3 goals. Semedo scored 4, I think. You've got Eluza has scored 6 or 7. Luca has scored 8. You've got Ngaki who scored 2 or 3. You've got Irankunda who scored 2 or 3. This is an absolutely marvelous way to play, and each and every player poses a significant threat on this pitch. We have some players who do not lack for confidence now. They know their roles. They've been coherent, cohesive, precise. If you look at Marma, who scored at least 3 goals, I think I've said 3 or 4 goals. Again, very good today. But Luca, for me, was very good, even though he didn't score. He had a lot of touches today. He found a lot of area and space to run into. The service to him was very, very strong. I love that. I thought that Irankunda was very key coming off the bench once again, a live wire. And as I mentioned, he provided the all-important assist in the counter-attack. Georgie in the first half, really strong performance from him again. Georgie coming back into his fitness and into his own is making all of this really good. Our orchestrations going forward and back, very, very strong today. And I thought it was a smart sub to give Georgie some time on the bench, Lucas some time on the bench. You've got again coming up Sunday. This is a really good way to go. Javi Gracia has been drinking sangria. Surely he had some last night. Didn't he? He must have had some sangria last night. I know he doesn't really drink it, but last night he had to have done, because these tactics were spot on today. Hit the request button. Have a go, fellow Watford supporters. Where are you? And I want to hear from the moaning moaners of our fan base. Where are the moaning moaners today? Come on, have a go. You're always loud when we don't win a game and when we lose a game. But where are you now? Quiet as church mice. I want to hear from you, Watford supporters. You know, the ones that are always slagging us off after we lose a game. But today, they're quiet. Where are you? I don't know where you are, but you, fellow Watford supporter, listening now are here. And thank you very much for doing so. At You ORNS Watford FC on X, at You ORNS Watford FC, that's at You ORNS WFC on X, and at You ORNS WFC on YouTube. I'll be reading out your YouTube comments as well. Really, really good stuff from the Golden Boys today, and the fan base is loving it at the Vic, and of course, virtually all over the world here on the You ORNS Watford FC post-match as Watford defeat Birmingham 3-0. We get the payback that we were looking for against Birmingham, who beat us 3-1 exactly 1 month ago today on December the 1st of last year, where they beat us up at St. Andrews. But today, we were absolutely on fire, and they were no match for us. They looked a little bit lost, a little bit frustrated, a little bit uncertain, and that is how we like it at the Vic as we continue a very strong home record. And now we've got that balance, a home and away, and we look to continue that winning way at Hull City. If we can get a third straight away win, oh my days, that would be absolutely special, and that would put us right there for, dare I say, automatic promotion. I do not want to jinx this, though, fellow Watford supporters. And if you have something to say on X, would love to hear from you. Hit that request button and have a go, as Watford had a real go today. A 3-0 masterclass over over Troy Deeney's former employer and his boyhood club. I know. I saw Troy Deeney on CBS here in the US in the studio talking about this, and he kind of was trying to suppress his disappointment about his Golden Boys, about his Birmingham losing to, of course, his former employers on both ends there. But look, we have some fantastic results to talk about, and confirmed now coming in from the Humberside, the final score. This is a really significant result today. The final score from Hull City was Hull City 0, Stoke City 1. That is a spectacular result. Stoke City, who is starting out very well this season, have clinched it at Hull City. The results are going our ways. Oh, they're going our way. Absolutely. This is a really good day for us. We had all the results, except for the Ipswich one, go our way. And what that means now in the table as we look ahead here, after these games were played to start the brand new year, is that Watford cemented in 4th, 2 points behind Middlesbrough, and 3 off the automatic. That's a marvelous start. And if we can get the win against Hull City on Sunday, we are right there, barking up the right tree, because we're not going to catch Ipswich on goal difference. They are a +18. So if we win against Hull on Sunday, we are right there. We are right there. Middlesbrough have lost 2 in a row, and 3 of their last 4. They're in 3rd on 43. And all of a sudden, Watford, your Golden Boys, 4 in a row. We are unbeaten in our last 7, and we are 1 defeat in our last 13. That is the kind of run that says you are going places in this league. This is a strong performance from your Golden Boys. Let me just read you the stats from this match. And the stat line from Watford versus Birmingham looks like this today. And then I'll go back and read your comments on the You ORNS WFC YouTube channel. Please subscribe there and make sure that you like the videos and hearts and all the rest of it there on the You ORNS WFC YouTube channel. The stats go like this for the Watford supporters, and here we go with those. The possession overall, 45.2% for Watford. For Birmingham, it was 54.8%, but it didn't feel like that, did it? The XG for the Golden Boys, 1.56 today. For the Birmingham City team, 0.4. The shots, total number of shots, 13 for us, 6 for Birmingham. Shots on target, 6 of those for us. That's really good. Good ratio. And 2 for Birmingham. For us, total touches inside the opposition box, Watford 18, Birmingham 10. Goalkeeper saves, 2 for us, 3 for them. The aerial duels, 1. 15 for us, 16 for Birmingham. Fouls committed, 5 for us, 14 for Birmingham. So we showed really good discipline on our fouling in this particular situation. As we can see, we committed only 5 fouls in the game, 4 corners apiece. And if you're looking in terms of what we were doing as far as yellow cards and such were concerned, our discipline was very good. A one yellow card for us, two for Birmingham. I forgot who got our yellow card, but really, we showed strong discipline today. Defensively, total tackles 14, 13 for them. Win tackle percentage, that went to Birmingham was 61.5%. For us, it was 50%. And again, total clearances, we won that 42% to 25, 42 total clearances for us, excuse me, and 25 total for Birmingham. Listen, that is a very good defensive performance, and these stats come to you from BBC Sport on the website there that shows you those statistics. I want to thank them for providing all of that. But that's the defensive discipline you need. That's what you want. I thought that we showed that very conclusively here today. Watford looking very, very strong indeed. Sitting pretty on 25 games played, 11 wins, 8 draws, 6 defeats. And again, our +8 goal difference sends us into the top 4 on 41 points. 4 wins on the spin. I think the last time we got 4 wins in a row, you probably were looking at that season with Cisco's Disco in 2021. I think that would have been the year that we last had 4 consecutive wins. And before that, it would have been Javi Gracia when, of course, we were back in the Premier League. If you look back at the 2018-19 season, remember when we had those 4 wins to begin the season in a row, those wins, and I'm trying to think of them in order. We beat Brighton at home. We beat Burnley away. We beat Crystal Palace. And we beat Tottenham. If memory serves me correctly, and someone can look this up for me, we started 2018-19 with those 4 opponents in order. And I just gave you them with Javi Gracia in charge. 3-0 win against Brighton, I think it was. We then won 3-1 at Burnley. We then won 2-1, I think it was, at home to Crystal Palace. And then or 1-0 at home to Crystal Palace, whichever it was. And then we were at the Vic again against Tottenham. We came from behind on a Sunday afternoon. I remember a sunny Sunday afternoon at the Vic. And that 4th game was at the Vic, and we beat Spurs 2-1. We went in at halftime with an own goal. I think it was Doucouré who hit the own goal that season. And then we scored the 2 goals in the second half. If you remember, it was Troy Deeney and Craig Cathcart. I think Cathcart got the winner. And it was a header, if I'm not mistaken. My memory on this January 1st is telling me that's how it went down. And we won those first 4 games under Javi Gracia. I think that might be the last time after Cisco or before Cisco that we got 4 consecutive wins in a league season. And that 4 wins were, of course, the 4 wins to start our season in the Premier League. Javi got August Manager of the Month, if you remember that. And it all went uphill from there as we got 11th in the Premier League. We got to the FA Cup final. That was a special season for us under Javi, and he's doing it again. The Magic Man continues the sangria, and the maestro of sangria has come through for us today. Fellow Watford supporters, what a great pleasure it is to celebrate this win with you. All of us in the building today. It's great to have you aboard on YouTube and on X after Watford 3, Birmingham City 0. That is the way to start your 2026 for your Golden Boys. Oh, it's absolutely lovely. We are flying at the minute. Everybody playing a role. If you look at Cipriano, he has been special these last few games. Matty Pollock and Max Lane, long may they continue in the center of our defense. They are the city of industry. They have been rock solid, and they have been the brick wall that we have needed. 2 clean sheets in a row and 3 in our last 4. We were pining for clean sheets. Do you know how long it took us to get a clean sheet in this campaign? It took us until October. Can you believe that? It was against Middlesbrough, 3-0. And guess who was in charge? It was in our first home game. And it was Javi again. That first home game magic. We had a 4-1 win against Chelsea under Javi Gracia in his first home game in charge a few years ago. That was in the Premier League. And of course, now his first home game in charge in that October of last year was a 3-0 against Middlesbrough. That was the first time we had a clean sheet this season. And now they're coming along like buses. Don't you love that? 3-0 today. Again, another strong performance from your Golden Boys from half to half. Now, listen, Norwich admittedly wasn't a strong performance. First half hour was. Second half, we weren't so good, but we did the fundamentals well. And when you're doing the fundamentals well, you are absolutely going places. And we did the fundamentals in style today from front to back. Our transition game was very, very strong. I was very impressed with that. I think that's what stands out for me today, that everybody was on the same page again. We believe in Javi. These lads trust in Javi. I think the belief is there, but the trust is there. I think these lads are very much on board with this manager. They trust him, and they've seen the pedigree that Javi brings. They've seen the results from the past. They know that the fan base has a strong connection, and what Javi's doing with our fan base is spectacular. And we wanted that kind of manager in here. Tom cleverly was doing that. The owner decided to go in a different direction. And look, now we have a manager after the previous one who now is actually doing the things you have to do to bring the fan base together, unify us behind what's going on, behind the cause, behind the club, behind the lads, and behind the ladies too, who've done a great job as well under Renee Hector. The Golden Girls are doing fantastic job at the minute as well. Renee Hector's got them playing well. Everybody's on the same page to start 2026. It's lively like this. You're always going to have people questioning things, and it's good to question things when things aren't going well. When you want to make things better, it's out of love. But if it's out of love, where are the people who've been slagging off this club when they ain't playing well? Come in and have a go. Let's hear from you. If you can slag us off when we're not doing things right and when the ownership ain't doing things right and when you got a moan about this and a moan about that, come on here now and have a go when things are going well. You got to be in this thing to win it through thick and through thin. That's what it's all about from the fan base. Let's go. And to the Watford faithful, thank you so very much for representing as you always do at the Vic. It's lovely to be here in foggy and somewhat damp and rainy San Francisco on this New Year's Day and seeing seas and hordes of the Golden Boy faithful. It's absolutely lovely to see that happen. And of course, on New Year's Day, when you could be forgiven and you could be, forgiven for staying away because you're hungover. But this was a marvelous performance from everybody, from the fan base. The owner had his notes today, which I didn't get to read because I was sleeping. And everybody on the pitch did their jobs. You know, the backroom staff, everybody has done an absolutely marvelous job today from start to finish, from you fans out there, the Golden Boy fans from across the world who are coming in here, who are coming in everywhere, who are absolutely making their voices heard. This is the kind of gravy we want on our Christmas dinner, the late Christmas dinner for New Year's Day. You've got to be pleased about this. Listen, we are on a very good spell. We're in a good way. We are doing our best. We are keeping consistency going. And before the season started for the Watford supporters, what the Watford fans expected was nothing less than where they are. This is not a surprise now. And if you're a Watford supporter out there who's been saying that we are going to do some business this season after the transfer business that was done, you're not surprised by where Watford are right now. I mean, given where we are, or where we were the first 3 months, and how we had the previous manager, and we were here, there, and everywhere, helter-skelter, Humpty Dumpty, right? You were disappointed the way the first 2 or 3 months went, but you're not surprised at the position that the Golden Boys are in right now. You're not, because most of you out there, most of you listening, most of you watching, predicted that Watford would be in the predicament and the position they are presently in. The vast majority of us were going, all right, then that's playoffs minimum for us. I looked at the comments, I read them, I saw you, I heard you. And all of us, many of us, to a man and to a woman and to a person, were saying, all right, with that business that we did in the summer, Watford were absolutely going to be in the playoffs at minimum. Some of you went a little bit further than that. And I was not willing to go to that other point because I don't want to jinx it. I mean, listen, I can say something. I don't mean that it's going to sink the whole thing, but I am very superstitious and I like to stick to my predictions when I make them. And I don't like to go further than that. I like to see what our Golden Boys do, and they can make me look good or make me look bad, make you look good, and make you look bad too. But right now, they're making us all look good. You know, I did say playoffs. After we completed that 15th bit of business in the summer, I said, based on what we've done so far, based on what we've done in the transfer window and the window shutting where it shut, we have a playoff contender here. These lads were going to make the playoffs. That was my prediction, and I was not prepared to go further. Right now, early doors, we still got what, 21 more of these contests to go. But you'd rather be in the top 4 right now, wouldn't you? Of course you would. The confidence is growing. The fan base is unifying. Of course, they're going to be outliers. But you know what? We belong in the top 4. We absolutely do. And when you look at these teams around us, we've already beaten Hull. We've already had a draw against Preston. We've already defeated Middlesbrough. We had a draw at Ipswich, where we were not good. We were distant second to Ipswich in that game at Portman Road, back in November. And Coventry, they dominated us, be fair. We did have a spirited second half, but be fair, Coventry did. They made us, Coventry have been beating pretty much everybody, haven't they? But you know what? They have to come to us. And our record at home has been absolutely brilliant. This is the kind of record you want at home. If you are going to go places, and if you're going to go one better than playoffs, and I don't want to jinx us, the home form that we are showing is exactly what you need to do. And right now, Coventry have to come to us. And Coventry have had a little bit of a wobble the last 2 games. They lost the game at home to Ipswich the other day, didn't they? Monday. And today on New Year's Day, they stumble at Charlton. Ooh, Coventry City aren't looking so invincible these days. And your Golden Boys are the hottest team in the championship. Shh. Don't tell anybody. I've not had any alcohol. I have not. I did have a little bit of a nibble at after midnight because I went a year without drinking any alcohol. 1 blooming year. That was my New Year's resolution last year. Was not to drink alcohol. I went the whole year without drinking any. So what did I do? About 20 minutes after midnight, of course I had some. Of course I did. I only had 1 glass of champagne, though. 1 glass. And then the rest of the bottle, no. I didn't touch it. I didn't. I can show you the pictures for proof. But maybe I'll dip into some of that after this win. Because you've got to have a bit more champagne and beer and lager and Guinness and whatever else you want. Whatever you're drinking. Have a drink of it on me. I might pull out that drink. I might have another one. But you know what? After today, no more alcohol for the rest of the year. Unless we get promoted. If we get promoted, shh, I will absolutely have a drink. And then I'll not drink again. I am really trying to, and it's not that I have any alcoholic problem or anything, but I really, really, really want to make that claim, not to have a drink. But you know what? Life is tough. Have a drink, Omar. Anyway, enough about me. Let's go, Watford supporters. Come on, then. Let's have a year. Come on. Want to hear from you. Want to read your comments on X. If you've got something to say about this performance and about the way this team is going and about the club and about the general direction of travel for your Golden Boys, please, please, please make that comment. If you are so shy that you do not want to be heard, maybe you are hungover. I'll give you that. Come on. Hangovers, they are a dime a dozen, aren't they, on New Year's Day? And as you two would say, all is quiet on New Year's Day, but not at Vicarage Road. We are loud, except in this chat right now, but that's all right. You know, all is not quiet on. I want to refute Bono. I really want to refute him and you too. All is not quiet on New Year's Day at the Vic. We have absolutely had a whale of a time. You know what else about this performance? And I'm going to read your YouTube comments. I am not neglecting you lot. You are absolutely raging on YouTube. Thank you so very much for that. But let me tell you something about where we've gone here with this game. We actually, the first 5 or 6 minutes, we're not up to it. I thought listen to me, Freudian slip. I thought that Birmingham looked very good. They looked pretty impressive. They had the ball. They were playing pretty good football the first 5 or 6 minutes. But again, possession is only 9/10 of the law. And it's interesting now what you see with us is that we're having less of the possession in these games, but we're still winning the games. Remember when we were having all the possession in several games under the previous head coach and in several games under Javi, under the current head coach, but we were not doing enough with it. That was one of my chief complaints, one of my only complaints, is that we had lots of possession in a lot of these games this season, but we were not doing anything with it. And what we're doing now, I think, thanks to some system tweaks from Javi, is that we are now having less of the possession and we are doing things in other areas of the pitch that generate more goal scoring opportunities and chances. And we're building play in other areas. And that has been the effective secret weapon for us. So we're having less possession in these contests. If you look at the game today, I just read it out to you. We had about 44% of the possession. Let me just make that go back to those match stats. We had 45% of the possession today. Birmingham had 54%, 54.8. We had 45.2. So again, we win the game. If you go back to the Norwich game, we had less possession than Norwich. Norwich had over 50% of the possession. We won the game. If you go back to the game against Leicester, Leicester had more of the possession. Actually, no, I'm not sure about that because Leicester are a classic counter-attacking side. I think the Leicester game we had more. Leicester typically like to have it that way. They don't mind other teams having less possession because they counter-attack. So maybe that game, that was the one outlier in these wins that we've had where we had less. I think Stoke, we had less possession as well. So the bottom line is that in recent contests, our possession has not been on the dominating side. And what that means is we've been more efficient in front of goal. And if you look at our rate today of strikes in front of goal, I read them out to you earlier. This is from the BBC website. Shots 13, 6 of those on target. That's efficiency. And we got 3 goals. That's a really efficient way to play. And what you've seen now is a Watford side who have learned to be efficient and learned to be, I think, economical in their possession and have worked harder on other areas of the pitch. So they've not expended so much energy holding on to the ball and not doing anything with the possession. Watford have really learned under Javi Gracia, especially these last 5 or 6 games, to be very efficient when they have the ball and do the things off the ball that you've got to do to yield these kinds of results. And that's the thing to me that makes what Watford have done here really special under this manager. Let me read out your comments on YouTube because I don't want to neglect the YouTube watchers. I want to read these comments out. And Philip Crouch, thank you, Philip, for this comment. Pollock and Elaine, solid again, and another clean sheet. I know you wrote this about 15 minutes ago, Philip, so I haven't forgotten you, but that is really good from you, Philip, as usual. Pollock and Elaine, solid again. I said this before, Philip, if you're still watching on YouTube, that Max Elaine and Matty Pollock had to start together. I had said this several weeks ago. This is not something I'm a Johnny come lately on. Max Elaine was not getting any playing time for us. Remember that a few weeks ago, back in October and into November, Max Elaine was not to be heard from. And I was saying, can we put out an APB, an all points bulletin? Where is Max Elaine? Is he on the side of a milk carton? Can you find him? Where is he? And now, whoever, I don't know if they were listening to yours truly, but they decided, was it Javi or in the backroom staff, that putting Max Elaine in was a good idea. And that coincided with Kevin not being on it for us. And Kevin having a couple of games where he was not so good. And Kevin found his way to the bench. And he's been making himself at home there because Kevin has not played any role in these last 2 games, certainly maybe even these last 3. And so what you're getting now from the Golden Boys in defense is a solid pairing that Javi trusts. Javi has been absolutely trustworthy of these 2 lads, and they have not hurt him at all. It's been a very, very sterling partnership. And when you have 3 clean sheets in your last 4, you are not changing that back line. You are certainly not changing that central defensive pairing of those 2 lads together. And I am thrilled that Javi and the lads are responding defensively. They have been very, very strong. And again, Watford supporters, whether you are on X or whether you are on YouTube, please hit the request button and make your voice heard. Come on. You've had a New Year's Day win. You're starting 2026 right. We want to hear from you. Lots to be said on YouTube. But I say this, that defensive pairing of those two lads, Philip Crouch, as you point out on YouTube, has been really special. And they're going to build and build and grow. Elaine's been a strong playmaker. He has a very good control of the ball in defense. He makes the right read and passes it in the right way. He makes all the reads very well. I see that from Elaine. When he brings the ball up, he makes the right read. He makes the right pass. He makes the right, he looks at the right channel to pass the ball through. And he very rarely loses the ball. And he brings you solidity. He is big. You don't think he is, but he is. He's lanky. And he's physical. He can be physical. He's not quite as physical as Pollock. But what Pollock provides next to him is a leadership role. And he takes Elaine, because Elaine's, I think, a bit younger than him, 19 or 20. I think Pollock's 23, 24, whatever. But he takes Elaine under his wing, and the two of them have grown together. Matty Pollock has been a brick wall. You know, Matty Pollock started out with an injury that he got in preseason, but Matty Pollock has grown and grown and has become Grown, not Groan. Okay, I know that you know that what I mean. But he has grown and grown into that role. And again, he is one of the candidates for Player of the Year, Player of the Season. Graham Taylor, Watford FC Player of the Season. I'm still looking at Jeremy Ngaki. I know he didn't play today, but he's also one of the candidates strongly. Loser had a game today. It was great to see Loser on the pitch, because I had some real doubts about him, but then we heard the day after that he was going to be in the starting lineup most likely, and he was. I thought he recovered well from whatever that was with his shoulder. So Loser did well, come off at halftime, I think it was. Whenever it was, he came off. Another good performance from him. He did not steal all the headlines. I think Georgie was a very good presence in the lineup. You look at Cipriano sitting in front of the as the holding mid, very good. Sissoko coming on at halftime, I thought was good as well, giving the lads a rest who were going to rest, because again, this lot are going to play on Sunday. I don't think there'll be any changes made. Jeremy Ngaki, I would be surprised if he makes the starting 11. I think he will make the bench, and unless someone can tell me he's been injured somehow, and I don't think he is, listen, Ngaki is probably going to be on the bench next time around. Petri made the squad today. The embarrassment of riches that Javi has, it's such a good thing. And this owner, again, I'm going to praise the owner. Gino's done a very good job here. And you know me very well now with this. When Gino's not doing things right, I will say so on here. And, again, if people still want him to go, and I'm still skeptical about Gino as well, you've got to look at who you're bringing in, right? But right now, things are going very well on the pitch and off it. We'll see about what happens, whether or not Gino makes a change in the ownership at the end of this season if they get to where they want to get to, where we want them all to get to. But those conversations, while those conversations are valid and necessary, you've got to put those conversations on the shelf for now, right? Because we're all moving in the same direction. Now is the time to focus on what is happening on the positive level at this club all around. And these golden boys are doing a golden job out there. And we need to be together. We need to move forward. We need to keep going. You can't forget certain things. I think that our place meetings are important as well. And I'm delighted that the club and the owner are receptive to those, and they've done those. The notes in the program notes from the owner today happened. I didn't get to read them, so I can't comment on them. But I'm glad to see that Gino is making more and more communication with the fan base. That's very important. This is all good. This is all good right now. And Philip, thank you for your comment. Matt said that back four of the Banquet, Pollock, Elaine, and Bowler were incredible and strong today. Matt, thank you for that comment on YouTube. I thought that they were as well. I agree with you, Matt. A Banquet looks very, very good at right back. And so if Jeremy Ngaki has a few games off, you know that a Banquet can play there. And I think a Banquet looks better there, actually, than he does in Central. I really think a Banquet provides you a bit more physicality, perhaps. He's a bit younger than Jeremy, but he's an imposing player. The only thing I was worried about with a Banquet, and still am sometimes about him, is sometimes he can make a rash challenge, And today, late in that game, where we were looking to keep the clean sheet, he made a tackle that was right inside the penalty box, and the Birmingham player went down. And thankfully, the referee had the smarts and the nous not to give anything of a penalty there, because I think the Birmingham City player, although he got tackled in the box, I think he went down a bit too easy. But listen, we've seen penalties given for stuff like this, and a Banquo's got to be careful with that. I think that's the one thing about a Banquo's game that does give you a little bit of concern, but he is young, and you do want to see that, because in some ways, a Banquo is a throwback to some of them rugged players from yesteryear. But you're right, Matt. That back four was very good again today. Incredible is the word, and very strong. Matt, thank you for that comment on YouTube. Those of you watching on YouTube, please subscribe to the You ORNS WFC YouTube channel. Thank you to those of you who've done that. For those of you listening on X, we'll continue on X as well, at You ORNS WFC. Follow along there. We'll be also doing well, I am not on Instagram. I am on Instagram at You ORNS WFC. But the bottom line is that we are also on Substack, You ORNS WFC, the number one, .substack.com. You better believe that the writing will happen today. As Elton John once said in his song, the writing is lighting up. And absolutely, the writing and the headlines are lighting up for your Golden Boys today. After Watford 3, I almost said Stoke, Birmingham 0. So that was the result. I'm sure Troy Deeney was really loving that result, wasn't he? I know Troy Deeney, I know you're probably a little bit heartbroken today after your lot went down 3-0 to us. I know you're a Brum lad, so I know that you probably were not happy with the result today, as your former employer beat your previous employer by a score of 3-0. Matt, again, with your comment, we had less possession overall in the game, but when we did have possession, we had it under control. Matt, thank you. And I know you wrote that comment about 15 minutes ago or so, but that's the key, Matt. And I was talking about this as well before I looked at your comment. We have been efficient in our possession. In these last few games, with the exception of perhaps of the Leicester game, we've had less possession, but we've done more with the ball. And as I've always said, and you know this, possession is 9/10 of the law. And if you can possess the ball, but if you don't do anything with it, it don't matter. You can have an 80% possession, but if you're not scoring, it doesn't matter. The other team can come down the other end and score on you. But we are learning to be efficient with the ball and using possession wisely. It's possession that's well worked and smart. It's smart possession. You can have lots of possession, but you got to be smart with what you're doing. And Matt, you're right. I think that we had the game under control. We had our possession under control. It's the kind of possession that you have, I think, that makes all the difference. And today, Matt, you're absolutely right. I thought that we had the possession under control. We were sensible. We were assured. We were coherent. We played together. We communicated with each other out there. We found and we laid a really good foundation for what we were trying to do. It was marvelous stuff. So, Matt, 100% with you on that one. And Dan, thank you, Dan, for coming in. Happy New Year, Dan. Happy New Year to everybody on YouTube who's watching. Philip, Matt, everyone commenting. Thank you very much. Everyone, all of you watching on YouTube. Happy New Year to you all. It's Omar here on You ORNS Watford FC post-match, the first one of the brand new year on the first day of the year. And Watford start the new year right with a 3-0 comprehensive win over Brighton, Birmingham, who we dominated today at the Vic with that 3-0 performance. Two good halves of football, just like at Leicester when we played two really good halves of football there. And so we're beginning to get everything right. The balance in halves, the balance in play, the balance at the front, the balance at the back, the balance in mid. We've got all that going right. Georgie's looking dangerous. He's coming into his own again. Loser, of course, a Banqua. We've got, of course, Mama, and we've got all the rest. Quadro Bar coming in. That was one of the most pleasing things about this win, is to see Quadro Bar back on the pitch as well. This is a very competent, confident, strong Watford squad we've got here. Papi Mendy coming on, doing his work well off the bench. You know, Papi Mendy, listen, I know he hasn't had much playing time, but he's doing some really good things on that pitch that we're not appreciating very much. Papi Mendy is the kind of player that you need if you're pushing for playoffs and pushing for the other P word. I'm really getting superstitious now. Once upon a time, I'd say that word, and I know I said it earlier, but now I'm just very superstitious. So listen, players like Papi Mendy, who's had Premier League experience with Leicester and Championship experience, I think, with Leicester as well. Them kind of players are the ones that you need. He's strong, smart, rugged, low center of gravity, like Mama, like Bar in different positions, of course, than Papi Mendy is. But he's been a real anchor when he's come on. Cipriano looks very strong as a mid, central, defensive mid, anchoring us. I still think we need to get that central midfielder in our January transfer market, which of course begins today. Do you think we're going to get one? And perhaps there might be a rumor or two floating around on the Watford wires. But I would like to see a midfielder come in here, central mid. Give us a bit more depth in that position. We've got a very good squad here, and they are coming around. And all it needed was for a manager to unlock the potential of these lads, a manager to steer the ship in the right direction. And we have that manager now in our beloved Javi Gracia. And now we just need to keep going, keep the consistency moving, And if we can get 3 points at Hull on Sunday, 3 p.m. kickoff, we are absolutely looking for more than playoffs at that point. We really would be. Middlesbrough are floundering, Coventry stumbling. Ipswich are going very well. Ipswich might even catch Coventry. Who knows? You have those ingredients. All the other results today went our way. You never know. You never know. I mean, there were some Watford fans who were saying we're going to win the league this season. They really were some Watford fans saying that. It's not too early to dream, even though we've got 21 games to play. Not too early to dream at all, fellow Watford supporters. Keep liking this video feed if you are watching it streaming live at youornswfc on YouTube. Please subscribe there as well. And I'm going to read out some more of your comments before saying goodbye. And it's been a marvelous start to our new year. 2026 could not have started better for your Golden Boys, for this club, for all of us. As far as that's concerned, really, really good stuff from us. Look, I'll read out more of your comments. And if you want to get on board and have a go on X, please hit the request button. We'll put you through. It's been a very good performance. And we've got David, by the way. So I'm going to preempt you on YouTube for now. And we're going to listen to David, who is coming in the first of the brand new year. David, welcome to this brand new edition of the You Orns post-match. Hi there, David, and Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year, Omar.
Thank you.
I couldn't really be more impressed with us today. I absolutely loved today's performance for, I guess, a number of reasons. I thought we were concentrated from the first minute to the last, and we never switched off. I thought everyone supported each other up and down the pitch. We tracked back, went the extra yard and made every tackle. I think if you're Birmingham, probably in that game, you're sort of resigned to being second best. And it's probably the most telling moment of the season where I actually have a bit of belief in us as a group, because I think we've been a team of individuals in a lot of games this season. And we really look together today. And we look a proper side at the minute. And I just could not be more impressed with our performance. I wasn't necessarily sure how today was going to go. I just think we've played a lot of games. We've kind of used the same players predominantly. So I thought, would this be one step too many? But for me, that just echoes how impressive the mentality was from the very start to the very finish. And it was comfortable. It was so good to watch.
Absolutely, David. Your points crystallized and very comfortable to watch. No drama today. You sat back, kicked up a chair, whatever you did, put up your feet, I should say, and had a drink if you wanted to. And you were never in any concern or worry about the way this Watford side performed in this game. No wobbles, clean sheet again, back-to-back clean sheets, 3 of our last 4 clean sheets. David, I think we've been very sensible. These lads have bought in. They are all in for Javi. They trust the man. They believe in the man. They believe in the process. And they are all on the same page together. I can understand what you said about the individualism in times. I mean, there have been times where that has happened. I must say for myself, I don't know that it's been like that all season. They definitely looked a little bit all over the place in the first couple of months of the season, trying to find their way through. But I thought today, and I think in recent weeks, and you've just crystallized this as well, David, this team has played very well, and they have all been on the same page together. And one of the comments that I think does perhaps underline yours about individualism, if you remember on the Watford FC socials, after the game at Norwich, Iran Kunde in one of the comments on video did say, "Today we played together as a team." And again, when players make comments like that, either in isolation or casually, those comments are not being made just for the sake of making them. Obviously, Iran Kunde and others know that they haven't been on the same page at times. And when you hear Iran Kunde say, "Today we played together as a team," it does underline that point about the individualism that you have been talking about, David.
I don't think, I think that leads very nicely onto Iran Kunde's performance today, which for me really highlighted what a good team performance it was. He's come on at half-time, probably maybe a little bit upset to not be starting the game after his impact against Norwich, and I thought he was absolutely unplayable at times. And probably the main point there, I guess, is how unselfish he was. Every time tried to make the right decision for the team. And obviously, yes, he'd probably love a goal. But there was, obviously got the assist for Tom Ince's goal. I thought he was absolutely superb and exactly what the team needed. And I think you just go throughout the team, really, and heap praise on them all. I think a Banquer certainly deserves a bit of individual attention. I thought he handled whoever he was up against pretty comfortably. So that's always that's a huge bonus as well. I think I couldn't be more impressed with how together they look as a group. There were certain signs that really kind of instills a lot more belief from myself anyway about what this team is capable of now compared to what it was capable of at certain points it's seen this season. Even when we'd scored a goal, there was still that communication from the team to stay switched on, and that's exactly what they did. And that's how you get through with a 90-minute performance, which I don't think has been too regular for us as a club for quite a long time. And today was just one of those perfect days where everything fell into place, and that's basically because they earned it. They did everything right as far as I'm concerned.
Oh, David, 100%. They did everything right. And one of the things that really pleases me, David, is that we're not giving up. I mean, except for the Leicester game, we're not giving up these early goals anymore. One of the things we're doing now is we're scoring the early goals. And not only are we scoring the early goals, we're also scoring the late goals. I mean, after the Wrexham game, when we had a late goal scored on us, I don't think we've had any late goals scored against us at all. And we are doing the late scoring as we did on Monday with Semedo, as we've done on a number of occasions. And we are starting the games well. We're on the front foot. Now, there have been a couple of exceptions, but we're generally on the front foot. All the games, David, where we were starting out and you were starting really poorly and we'd wait for the other team to score first and then get into gear and get a kick up our backsides. That's not happening now. We are seizing the game from the off. We are scoring early and we are doing the right thing. And that is what you want. David, any other words before we move on? I want to thank you for being on. Anything else you wanted to say after this one?
No, I think you're exactly right. There were certain trends, obviously, that couldn't carry on. If you want to look towards the top half of, the top end of the table, we obviously have to get rid of conceding the first goal. We have to keep a few more clean sheets anyway. Yeah, I guess this has been a ridiculous period. Obviously tough for every single team in the division. I just think they deserve so much credit for basically the same players starting. I think it really does help. Maybe Javi's stumbled across this system a little bit. I guess in the same way that when we last got promoted, Cisco Munoz sort of stumbled across the system as well. But yeah, we look so sharp with the players that we've got. I think Chakbatate is absolutely huge for that midfield as well. I think that really makes a difference. I think if he was, I don't know why. Do you know why he came off at halftime?
I think it was not injury. I think it was just to give him a break for Sunday's game. Don't forget he's just come back after 4 or 5 games. He's almost back to full match fitness, David. So for me, this one was we're going to rest him for now. You got another game in 3 days, so let's take him off. It was not to do with any injury because when he walked off, he didn't look injured to me. Looking injured and being injured are 2 different things. But you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, I think that's probably a smart move. But I do worry, obviously, that we have to keep him fit because I don't see anyone else in our squad that can do the same things that he can do. I think he makes us a lot more cohesive as a team. And whilst Iran Kunda is a very different player, I think, we look so much better for having Chakbatate in there. And I think he's probably still not 100% as well. So hopefully more to come from him. I think can pretty much bang on all day about positives throughout the team. So I think it's just one to enjoy again. I think this period's been absolutely unreal.
It certainly has, David. Thank you very much indeed for your comments, as ever, to the You ORNS Watford FC post-match. David, Happy New Year to you once again, and take care.
Take care.
Take care. Thank you very much indeed. That was David there giving his comments on Watford 3, Birmingham 0. I think David was spot on with what he said. Yes, there have been times where there have been some individualism for sure. The stumbling onto the system. Yeah, I mean, I think that I think both these managers, Cisco and Javi, are good managers. I know that they've not had success necessarily in other English football clubs, as we know. But I think that these lads, these 2 managers have really found things well. I think they're good tacticians, and I think that they do work hard to try to find the things that work. And look, just like with Cisco, the lads love Javi. The lads loved Cisco. I mean, Cisco was like one of the boys. He was one of the teammates, basically. But Cisco did do a very good job, and certainly I think he worked hard to get the system that worked. And Javi has too. Javi, sometimes there are managers who really know how to find something to work with a team like Watford or with any club. There's one club that the system suits them. And whatever Javi's done, he has found a system that suits the way that these players play. So they can express themselves on the pitch and they can still fit within the parameters of what Javi wants from them. And it's worked very, very well here these last 5, 6, 7 games. In fact, you can make a case it's worked well over the last 13 or 14 games. Javi's been in charge for 16 games now or so. And he's been tinkering and looking and trying to find the key ingredients. And it's like a chef trying to find the ingredients that makes the recipe and makes the outcome of the recipe and the cooking very good. And I almost said Chef Sangria. Chef Gracia has cooked up a concoction that works. And it's not for lack of trying. And you see what's happening. Again, as I said earlier, the system has been bought into by the players. And they put things together and they are looking at each other and they're trusting in each other, because a lot of this is not only trusting the manager, it's trusting your teammates to be where they are on the pitch. And that's what the training sessions are about. But the best way to do that is in a live football match. And they are now trusting each other, which is why they are playing well together. I think that's the key too, because teammates have to learn to trust each other as well. Because you might buy into a system by a manager, but if you're not trusting each other in that system on the pitch as individual players, then that's always not going to work for you. So they're now trusting each other, which is also a reason why they are now playing together so very well, so confidently. And I agree, David, with what you said about Georgie. Georgie is a very key linchpin now. You know, when he gets back, because he's not quite at 100% fitness, I think, in my view. But if Georgie gets to 100% and continues to do this, we are a dangerous side. We are a very dangerous side with Georgie. He opens up that midfield and opens up the top half of the pitch so much with those marauding runs forward. You know, Iran Kunda can do this too, but he does so mainly on the left or right sides. But Georgie can do this anywhere on the pitch, anywhere. He did it again today. And he passed the ball to Ince a little bit late, kind of stumbled with that pass first half, and Ince hit it into the side netting. That's what Ince could have had 5 today, as I said. But that run from Georgie in the first half and other runs he's made, it just puts the defenses on edge. And we don't even have Doumbia back yet. We don't have Kayembe, who comes off the bench and plays and starts these games, back yet from AFCON. We don't even have Caleb Wiley yet. He's injured. We have Quadwo, who's come back in, and Rocco Vata, a longer-term injury. Think about this team when all that lot come back, and Jack Greaves, who's not had this season. Think about these lads when they all come back. That's a frightening team to deal with. And that championship is going to have its hands full with us. I'm not trying to get ahead of myself, but just think about that. It's like a brand new set of signings. When that lot come back, we are a dangerous, dangerous side. Dangerous side. Just think about that. Frightening to play us. Ooh, you do not want a piece of us. I'll tell you that now. Hull City and Watford take to the field on Sunday afternoon at 3 p.m. Let me read out the rest of your comments, and thank you one and all. And thanks for your patience on YouTube. Really appreciate each and every one of you who's watching. Hit the thumbs up. Please subscribe at youornswfc on YouTube and spread the word. At youornswfc on X, please follow there. And on Instagram at youornswfc. And of course, the youorns WFC, the number one, .substack.com. Of course, I will be typing that into the chat as well on YouTube. Please subscribe. Definitely doing some writings here for New Year's Day. That's my New Year's resolution as well, to write a lot more on the Substack channel for this particular channel, YouOrns WFC, the number one, .substack.com. Typing that right now into the chat on YouTube and pinning it now to the chat on YouTube. So please make sure that you go ahead and do that. I'm going to be reading a load of things from you here on YouTube because I've been neglecting you a bit, and I apologize for that. So we go on now. Hull lose at Stoke. That's right. Wow, says Dan. I know, Dan, you wrote that about half hour ago or so. Dan, thank you for the comment all the same. Thank you. Thank you. I know you wrote it a while back. But yeah, Hull losing at Stoke, a 1-0 defeat at home to Stoke. Wow. There's going to be a lot of pressure on Hull then, aren't they? Because Hull have another home game, and it's against us on Sunday. These teams are beginning to stumble and wobble around us. And when you're going well, this is the kind of thing that happens for you. Results go your way elsewhere. That's what happens when you put together a run like this. 1 defeat in our last 13. 4 wins in a row. 7 unbeaten. 3 performances that have been very good of these last 4 wins. 2 consecutive away matches with wins. Unbeaten away from home in our last 3. These are the matches you need. These are the performances you need if you are going to go to the promised land. I predicted playoffs after the business was done in the summer. Some of you predicted better than that. I was not willing to go there just yet. I had said that we have the capability to do it, but my prediction was going to be playoffs. And from there, who knows? But our home results and our home record is going to play a significant role in that playoff push if we make the playoffs this season. Still got 21 of these to play. Of course, you'd love to have the season end today, but it does not end in January. It ends in May. And we hope our season goes beyond that. with the kind of destination that we want to all go to. Are we going to do anything in January? That's the question. Do you think we should do anything in January? We are in January now. I would like to see a central mid. We talked about Georgie, and David had a real conversation with us about that, with the way Georgie's playing, the way things are looking, spelling pressure from loser. I think we do need another just to give us a bit more. But our depth is very good in this squad, and you can't deny that. You know, injuries you always got to look out for. We've had a few injuries, but we've had players come back too. And again, Vata, whenever he comes back, Caleb Wiley, whenever he comes back, you know, Jack Grieve and all the rest, you know, these are like new signings. Pierre Duoma is going to be on his way out. That's been reported at the Watford Observer. So, you know, Duoma, he's going to be gone, I think, because he just, you know, there's just not playing time for him. Not because he's terrible. He's had injuries, and he's not been bad when he come into these games, but he hasn't had a real look in, and he wants football. He wants regular first-team football, and you can't fault the lad. And so, you know, that's the business decision that will get made in this month as this window opened today. So I'm going to read out more of your comments. Matt, thank you, Matt, for this. I know you wrote these comments a while ago for the WAP supporters, so I'm reading them, and these are comments that have been made at least half an hour ago. So bear that in mind for the WAP supporters listening. Matt says Pollock got the only yellow card for us. Thank you, Matt, as ever for that. Matty Pollock got the yellow card, and Matt, thank you for that. Matt and Matty, the yellow card was Matty Pollock's today. We've all said this season, said Matt on YouTube, teams need to be scared of us when they come to the Vic. And today's result proves teams that still need to come to the Vic should be scared. And Matt, I'm getting confused, aren't I? Matt and Matty. Oh, dear. Matt, thank you for the comment there. You're so correct. And as I said as well a few moments ago, that they should be scared of us at the Vic. They should be scared of us. And we've done really well at the Vic. I don't want to jinx anything there either. But remember, the template was even set, Matt, from the previous season when we had that long unbeaten run at Vicarage Road. Remember that under Tom Cleverley? Long unbeaten run. And that was a special run. And again, lest I jinx things, we are doing much the same here this season. It's been very, very good at the Vic. Remember, Matt, just a few short years ago, maybe a few short months ago, even more than a year or two ago, when we were at the Vic and we were dreading it, and the atmosphere wasn't good and it was toxic, and we moaned and groaned, and rightly so, about the Vic play at the Vic, and we were playing like we didn't know what to do, and teams were coming in very comfortable. Not anymore. That's not happening now at Vicarage Road. It's become that fortress that the players wanted, that the owner was looking for before the season began. We were looking to make this place a fortress. Tom Cleverley was looking to make it a fortress as well. And we are doing that now. Jono George on YouTube. How are you, mate? Happy New Year to you, Jono. Helter Skelter 2. I just can't get enough. Yeah, exactly. Good job. And those of you who know your songs, know what Jono is talking about there. Absolutely, Jono. I hope you're still watching. I know you made the comment a little while ago, but thank you, Jono, for making it. Yeah, Depeche Mode is in the building, aren't they? And I'm sure they were at the Vic today after the end of that match. We are absolutely on a run right now. We are in a very, very good way. Your Golden Boys are flying at the minute. And you've got the Golden Girls in promotion contention. I think they're number 2 at the minute. 2 or 3 in the table there, with Renee Hector's ladies doing the job fantastically. I think we've only had 1 or 2 defeats this season. And now you've got the Golden Boys running. They're on a real running, aren't they? They're on a run here. I don't want to jinx anything. I predicted playoffs. Many of you predicted playoffs, and some of you predicted top of the league. But I'm going to just go with the prediction I made right after we finished our summer business, and it was playoffs. That was what I said, and I was not prepared to go further than that. And right now, we are sitting pretty in number 4 position. Ooh, Hull City is next. And if we can get 3 points at Hull, we are making a move. Middlesbrough look wobbly. As I said, I told you last time out, Middlesbrough, who were in the automatics at the end of the game against Norwich on Monday, I said I didn't trust Middlesbrough in a big spot. Middlesbrough have done this a number of times, have started really well, and then they have come a cropper when it really counts. And I'm back in that again. I don't trust Middlesbrough. I said to you at the time, I think Hull will be in and around it. I said that Ipswich would be in and around it. I said that Coventry were going to continue to go strong, but they've now stumbled these last two games. You know, Millwall, I wasn't looking at really. But, you know, Millwall are hanging around. I think Millwall got the draw today, I think it was. I think I said that earlier. You know, they got a 0-0 draw at Southampton today. So, you know what? Hey, you know, Millwall have that negative goal difference too, which I think will hurt them. We have a +8 now. We have gone from a negative goal difference in these last few games in this long run to a +8. And you need to be on the right side of the goal difference ledger to have an effect, because that counts toward the end of the season. So you've got to look at that. Ipswich have a +18. So they've done themselves very well. But that's everything. You know, these goal differences can be really the difference between automatic and promotion and playoffs, and the difference between automatic and a title, and the difference between playoffs and no playoffs. But Watford now, 4th place, solid position, going great, consistency on the pitch, trust amongst the players, trust in the system, versatility, movement, discipline, cohesion, togetherness, confidence. All of those words that I have used, and all the adjectives and all the rest of it, go toward making this side a very effective and dangerous side. Long way to go, but we are now in the back half of the season, the back end of the season now. We are beginning to turn over the fixture list. It started with the win at Norwich, was the first opponent that we'd played previously this season. It's now continued with Birmingham, and we've started the back end of our fixture list with 2 wins out of 2. We've already beaten Hull this season, and that was at the Vic. It was a 2-1 scoreline in that game. I think Vivaldo scored twice, I think, in that game earlier this season. And now we have a chance to make it 3 out of 3 in this end of the fixture list that we've turned over. If we can get 3 points at Hull on Sunday, the confidence will only grow, and the expectation from the Watford fan base will only grow. You know, that's the thing. And it takes a run like this to move that confidence needle. It really does. If you get a run like this in the championship, you want to get greedy. You want to keep it going. You don't want the music to stop. You don't want Depeche Mode to stop playing that song, I Just Can't Get Enough. You don't want that to end. You know, it's a special run. It's a special run that we're on at the minute. And what's very encouraging about this is that everybody's playing their part. I thought Selvik was very good today. Selvik's been solid for us ever since he stepped in. But Selvik, and he's made, you know, we've had a couple of games where, you know, goalkeeper does have a day off in a couple of situations. Those games against Bristol City, remember that? Where we're getting the draws, you know, where we had those Friday night games or midweek games at the Vic where we could only draw. Those are becoming a distant memory now. We're starting to win these games at home again. Think about that. Selvik was very good today. And I know he didn't have a whole lot to do, but the way he patrolled that goal, his authority in that 6-yard area, and the way he patrolled the 18-yard box, it was comfortable. Selvik was not troubled. He was not troubled. How many times did we say earlier in the season that we have to trouble opposition goalkeepers? Well, the opposition today didn't trouble us. Our keeper, our number 1, was not troubled a bit today by Birmingham. Not troubled. There were chances that Birmingham had. Shot the ball wide across the goal mouth a couple of times. And it's incredible. They really did not trouble us today. And when you're playing games like that in the championship, keeping clean sheets, your confidence grows, your belief grows, the togetherness grows. And again, trust and belief are key, and your character grows. We had the character to get that win at Norwich when things looked really tight on Monday night. And today, our character grows in all areas. It was great to see Quadro Bar back on the pitch. Very good to see him back. Didn't look like he lost a step. Sissoko played a role. Did a decent job. Cipriano, a banquet, Elaine, Bola, can't forget him. Very important Monday night with that goal line clearance against Norwich late. And he was good again today. Blocked some shots, made the defensive plays, did the running, became that wing back. Each of these players is very versatile, and they know what they're doing out there, and they believe in each other. See, that's the difference. As I said earlier, they believe in each other on the pitch. It's not just, again, I know I'm sounding like a broken vinyl record at the minute, but these lads believe in each other now. That's the difference. They believe in Javi, and they believe in each other. When Iran Kunda made that comment, you can go look it up on the Watford FC socials after the Watford win at Norwich. He said, today the team played together. That's not just down to the manager. That's down to the team trusting each other on the pitch. The passing's better now. The movement's better now. The spacing is better now. The speed of the ball and the way it's being passed around is better. The confidence is there. You see the togetherness and the trust of the players in each other. The Golden Boys are trusting each other on the pitch. You can see that now. That's down to a number of things, of course, tactics, tweaks, but it's also down to the belief in each other on that pitch. And that's what makes a team really good. Let me read out the rest of your comments finally before getting going here. I want to thank each and every one of you. Happy New Year to you all. What a happy new year it's been so far for Watford, for everybody at the club, and for all of us as Watford supporters, as Watford beat your Watford men's team, first team today, beat Birmingham City by a score of 3-0. Birmingham's record, says Dan, and thank you, Dan. All these comments were at least half an hour ago on YouTube. I apologize for the delay. Gotta just get through these comments, lots of them, and thank you for making them for the Watford supporters. John O, George, thank you for your comment as well. Dan XXS Dan X on YouTube says Birmingham's record at Watford last 7 games, 0-15. That's the goals I think he's talking about. They've conceded 15 goals, Dan, in their last 7 at the Vic. Really? Wow. I'd have to look that up. It's not that I don't believe you. I just have to go look that up for myself. But if that is correct, Dan, that's a staggering situation. I know we beat Birmingham, I think last season or season? Well, Birmingham went in the championship last season. But a few seasons ago, I know we've beaten them 2-0, I think 3-0 at one point and 3-0 today. This is over several years, don't forget, because Birmingham and Watford have not played a lot of football against each other, at least the last couple of seasons, but they were in the championship, I think, a few short seasons ago, and I think we had beaten them there. So 0-15, 0-15 in terms of the scoreline, 0-15 in 7 games at Vicarage Road for Birmingham. Wow. Dan, thank you for that. I'll look that up as well, but Dan, thank you for supplying that. If that's correct, Dan, that's a really, really good job that we've done against them, and thanks for that. Philip Crouch, hello, Philip, again. The difference in the possession stats is we are not spending the whole time passing it around at the back. You know, Philip, thanks for making that observation. We aren't. That's so true. Because what we're not doing, Philip, and I'm glad you said that, because we're not lingering around at the back tentatively. And when you're doing that, that's what that is. That's a lack of confidence in your teammates. You're absolutely right, Philip. Thanks for making that point. We're not lounging around at the back looking for answers, looking for belief. Because when you're doing that, Philip, it's because you don't trust your teammates. And it's because you don't know what to do out there. And maybe the system and maybe the established route of play when you're passing it out from the back has not been something that the players have been invested in, or they don't trust it maybe. Or maybe they don't trust their teammates. I think all of those things combine in that equation, Philip. Because yeah, you're holding on to possession and you ain't doing nothing with it because half the time, yeah, you're passing it backwards, passing it in the back, you're knocking the ball about, but you're not really advancing the ball forwards. And so you're spending a lot of time being very tentative in your approach in the match. And so, Philip, I think that's very true. I think that is a part of the reason why the possession stats are different now and why the possession stats now show a lot more efficiency because we're moving the ball better. We are actually trusting each other out there on the pitch, and we bought into this system, and we're now learning to play the ball with pace with our pass, and we're learning to run into the spaces. That's all done on the training ground, and that's all done with belief and spending time around the lads and believing in each other on the training ground so that when you play the game on match day at the Vic or wherever you're going to go on match day, there is a belief in each other and there's a trust. And once you've got trust in your teammates, you've got everything. If you trust in the manager's system, and if you trust in the goal, and if you trust in your teammates, you've got everything. Even if you're losing games, if you trust in your teammates, you then believe and trust that things will change. Right now, things are going very, very well. And I really would love those Watford fans who come on this post-match and do their fair share of complaining, and sometimes it's really warranted. And I've always given time and space to people to come on here of a Watford persuasion who aren't on the same page, who have legitimate concerns, because I have a lot of those concerns myself. But I really would love some of those folks to come on here, and some of those people who are very vocal in their criticism to come on here when the lads are winning and when things are going well. I would really like that. And I know that by nature, people will have something to say when things don't go well, right? And then I know that when we do win, less of us seem to make the comments. But we need to be very vocal here now in our support of what's going on. The way things are going at the minute, it's going very well. It went well in the summer with the window. It went really well there. And we have to keep pointing out when things are right. I will definitely come on here and talk about when things aren't going well and offer some constructive criticism of anyone at Watford, including the fan base. I will criticize myself sometimes of things I've not got right. That's the way it has to be. But when these lot are going well and when everything's going really well, you have to be supporting these lot. Yeah, you have to support them no matter what, thick or thin, good or bad. But let's have some more cheer in the place when we win these games on these forums. I want to see a lot more Watford fans spreading the positive cheer on these post matches. I mean, David's been very good. He'll come on and call in when it's good and bad. You don't have too many fans like that. I mean, you have some. David is one of them. He'll come in and he'll call in here when it doesn't work and when it does. That's what a fan's all about. That's the kind of fan you want. That's the kind of fan that does the fan base proud. When you have fans that are able to see both sides of things, and I'm not saying both sides as in that both sides, but you know what I mean, that they are able to look at the dimensions of things at Watford, whether it's the club, whether it's the fans, whether it's the players, whether it's the manager, the tactics. David is always was gonna point that out to you, and you want that from your fan base. You want that kind of fan in here. And there are lots of fans that come on YouTube here too, who will say things plus and minus when it's necessary. So this is absolutely what you need. And the Watford fan base, listen, there are lots of us. We're all very passionate, right? Most of us are on the same page. There's always going to be a few outliers, but the outliers have a right to their say. I just wish some of the outliers would come on when things are going well. That's all I'm saying. I believe in giving every Watford fan, no matter what their view of Watford, a voice. I don't think you should shut down voices because you don't like what they're saying about your club. I don't believe in that. I don't believe in that. Listen, there are going to be Watford fans that say things that you don't like and you might vehemently disagree with. Fine. But you have a right then to come on and offer your view. And there might be things that some Watford fans say about the club and the team that I disagree with. But that's where I come in and either I say something or, offer a different kind of comment altogether. I mean, that's what speech is. That's what free speech is supposed to be. So that's important to say. I'm going to read out your comments and then we'll end it today here after a really good performance and a good win to back it up. I mean, Javi will be very pleased with this performance as well as the 3 points. He was pleased the other night, even though the performance in the second half was not as good. The important thing, and this is something I haven't mentioned today, is that we did the footballing fundamentals right at Norwich in the second half. Even if the performance overall wasn't great, we did the bread and butter gravy things perfectly in that game second half against Norwich. And that carried over to today. When you have a win like this, it is easy to overlook the footballing fundamentals. The fundamentals of football can often get overlooked in a 3-0 win like this, in a performance like this. Because it's those fundamentals that are the ingredients and the springboard to make things go well. And it's easy to overlook that when you see a great Tom Ince hat trick. And again, to remind you, the You ORNs Watford FC man of the match, no surprise, is Tom Ince. I don't think there's any question about that. I love the way Javi uses Tom Ince. And Tom Ince, as the veteran player, really gives us some stature out there. Nous, he can score goals. We've got at least 6 goal scorers on this team. We can score from corners. We can score from penalties. We look like a genuine article out there. And David mentioned this earlier. Some of you have also said the same. And nobody wants to play us at the Vic. Nobody wants to play us. Again, at risk of jinxing anything, nobody wants to play us at the Vic. Nobody. I've just done a close-up on YouTube. I'm surprised I haven't shattered the camera on YouTube. Are you all right on YouTube? Did I break the lens? Did I break the camera? Oh, dear. I sure hope I didn't break your camera, those of you watching on YouTube with that close up. But let me read out the rest of your comments finally here, and we'll then say goodbye. You can enjoy the rest of your evenings wherever you might be across the world. This is the You ORNs Watford FC post-match with yours truly, Omar, here in San Francisco, where the weather is dreary. It is raining out there today on New Year's Day. But it was raining goals at the Vic. 3 of the best from Tommy Ince. Tommy terrific, as we get a 3-0 win over Birmingham City. Get revenge over them from exactly a month ago today when they beat us 3-0 on December the 1st of last year at St. Andrews. Damari Gray, nowhere to be seen. The 2-goal man from that game, nowhere to be seen today. And there was another player, nowhere to be seen today. The manager, as I said earlier, nowhere to be seen. He was sitting high up in the Saint. Well, maybe he's a saint in the Sir Elton John stand. I don't think Elton John himself would call himself a saint. I don't think he would. So Elton, it's great to see you, mate. Always. I know you're very, very happy today. I don't know if you were at the Vic today. I know Elton makes his trips 2 or 3, I think, a season, 2 a season at least at the Vic, and I have no reason to think that he will not be there again sometime soon. The last time he was at the Vic, the memory serves me, that's the game we lost against Blackburn in his kit. But we have not had too many problems wearing that kit before. I think there was only one other game we lost in that kit. But since then, we've actually been pretty good in them. And I was calling for the retirement of those kits after those 2 defeats. What did I know? But anyway, that was a different time and that was a different day. And here we are now. Let me read out the rest of your comments. Thank you, Philip, for yours earlier there about the possession. Matt, Javi has spoken after the game. And this, again, these comments are all at least half an hour old. So I do apologize to you for that. Javi has spoken. This is Matt. Matt, thank you so much again for your continuing support. It is abiding. And I thank you for that, as ever, to all of you who are here on X and on YouTube. Thank you for your continued support. Please continue to spread the word about the YouOrns Watford FC post-match, the YouOrns WFC channel, and YouOrns on Substack, YouOrns WFC, the number one.substack.com. Thank you so very much for your continued support, and long may it continue. Please like the videos, like this stream, and of course, subscribe as well on YouTube at YouOrns WFC. And this is what Matt has to say. Javi has spoken after the game. He said, quote, well, he's not quoting, but I think he is pretty much saying that. I told the players at the end of the game that I love to work at Christmas this way. Great result. That's great, Matt. Thank you for that. Thank you so much for supplying that. Sometimes I do pick up what Javi says during these lives that we do. But Matt has been very erstwhile in doing that. He's been very reliable and dependable. Thank you, Matt, for this. It's always appreciated. That's a good job from you as always, Matt, as ever. Thank you. Matt continues on. Javi continued after starting, scoring the goal. It gave us confidence to control the game. They believe the way we prepare in all the things we do. There is no other secret. It's the only way. It's only the way we play. That's great, man. Again, thank you for supplying that information from Javi Gracia in the post-match. And listen, in Matt's comments on what Javi said and paraphrasing what Javi said, it underlines what we've been saying here today, what the supporters have been saying, what I, as a fellow Watford supporter, lifelong supporter of this club, has been saying, is that there's belief in everybody. They trust in this system, they trust in each other, and they trust the process. That's exactly what we've said here today. And so it's really good to hear those comments as transcribed or as paraphrased by Matt about Javi, and Javi saying exactly the same thing. It's always great when we're all on the same page. And again, constructive criticism is important, and it's good to have debate in the fan base about things. But when things are going like this, come on now. Come on now. How can you not? Anyway, listen, I don't want to go on like a broken vinyl record about that. Listen, you're never going to get every single Watford supporter to row in the same direction. That's like herding cats, right? You most of your fan base is going to be on board, right? And there's always going to be a few. That's just the way human beings are. That's the way we are as human beings. You know, it would actually be a boring world, actually, if we did all row in the same direction. I would love that. But, you know, that doesn't happen in life, let alone at Watford Football Club with our fan base. Matt, thank you again for the comments. Actually, there's more as I put on the yellow glasses on YouTube. If you want to take a look at that on YouTube, those of you on X. Gosh, it doesn't work because I'm nearsighted. I can't read out the comment from Matt. So I'm going to have to take these off for a minute. I was actually going to put the yellow beanie on because I do have a yellow beanie that matches the yellow of Watford. I should have put that on today. I got to get that at some point, but maybe not today, maybe another time. But here's what Matt says again, and he's continuing with what he got from Javi from some of the post-match. Javier continued, says Matt, the atmosphere we have in the training ground at the stadium is something that gives us the boost to keep going. Great comments. And these are in quotes now. Thank you for that, Matt. And Matt has some more. He ended, Matt, brilliant from you here. He ended, and he is referring that he is Javi here. And Matt says, quote, it's something that when we arrived was our objective, to help the players play as a team. That goes back to what David and I discussed earlier, because there is no doubt about their quality and attitude. But we have to synchronize the feelings and skills and different moments during the season. Quote, end quote. Thank you very much for that. The quotes around there, or the inverted commas, as we say in the United Kingdom. Thank you, Matt, for putting that through about what Javi said after the game there. And I'm on board with every single word of that. Quality, attitude, playing as a team. One word that I haven't really mentioned today, and I think I mentioned it once early on, was the word young, youth, young players. And it does take someone who has an appreciation of how to work with young players to make them believe in themselves, because of course, and believe in each other, because of course, there is going to be a lot of, because sometimes I do understand that it is individualistic play at times, but sometimes they're even in the individualism, there were some good signs. But yeah, when you're younger and you're a young footballer, you got a lot to prove, right? You think you got a lot to prove, so you got to do the flicks and the tricks and the dash and the flash and the dash, you know? And so you are caught up in trying to impress the manager on an individualized level and on an individual basis. But you don't want to be doing that when you're looking at a team. And so you want to be as a team, and you want to be in a good way, and you want to start trusting in your teammates. And so playing together as a team and the attitude that comes with that is important. And when you got young players, you've got to know as a manager how to harness that talent and skill and manifest an attitude that is team wide and team first, not me first. That's the objective, right? And so Javi Gracia has done that. And he's put an arm around certain players. And he's had the way of knowing how to do that. And the previous manager, not so much. And some of what the previous manager did worked, and that tough love attitude can work. But when you've got a bunch of young lads who have not, many of whom have not played in England before, some of whom have not played in England, that kind of taskmaster, tough love thing does not work all the time. And then when you're not going well, it really doesn't work. So the manager has to come in and not be a renegade and not throw hand grenades around, or has to learn when to throw the hand grenade and when not to pull the pin out. I mean, that's really what you've got to look at. And Javi Gracia has been around the block, and he knows enough about what to do with lads, when to do it. He's managed veterans, he's managed youngsters. And you see that Javi's a good person. He's a decent human being. And he wants to build something here. And that's why the owner cannot touch this man this time. I don't care what's going on at this club. I don't care what's going on with the results. You've got to build a base, and you've got to have continuity. And Javi's got to be where he is, no matter what happens at the end of the season. No matter what. The reward, if we get to the promised land where we want to get to, the reward for Javi is a new long-term contract. It cannot be, let's get rid of him and bring in a Premier League type manager. I know I'm way over my skis here. I don't want to do this. This is why I don't like this, because I'm very superstitious. Very superstitious. I don't want to go there. I'm going to stay with my prediction. But I'm just saying, the owner's got to get this right for next season. But gosh, why am I talking about next season when we are having such a glorious run this season? Oh, calm down, man. Calm down. Calm. It's not the end of the world. We'll find a way. We will find a way, some way or other. Let me read the rest of these. Happy New Year, says Dan Omar. Happy New Year, Omar, and everybody. Dan, Happy New Year to you as well. And Happy New Year to each and every Watford supporter, as well as Dan, Matt, and all the other people who have commented and listened in today. It's been a glorious pleasure to start this first day of the new year with this Watford victory and with your comments. Watford fans, you are the engine, you are the glue that makes all of this work. And without you, these Watford FC post matches would be, pretty ordinary. And I mean, it's all right. I'll get by. If nobody comments, I'll get by. But it's much better, isn't it, when Watford fans have a go, have a say, have a comment. It's great to have each and every one of you in the building. And I just absolutely love talking to fellow Watford supporters. Short of actually being in Watford right now, celebrating with everybody. Listen, this is the second best thing, isn't it? When you're a Watford supporter overseas, and you can get to talk directly with Watford fans across the world. particularly the Watford fans who are in Hertfordshire and in and around the place, and whether they're in Watford directly, or whether they're in Hertfordshire, or whether they're somewhere else in England, or somewhere else in the UK entirely, or they're across the globe, wherever you are. It's great to talk to you, especially after wins. And let's hope we can continue that against Hull City on Sunday, a 3 o'clock kickoff. If we can get 3 points at Hull, ooh, oh, baby. I know. It's been about 3 weeks since one of the Watford fans out there, I keep mentioning his name, Brad, who told me on X that the playoffs are done for us. He said this after the 2-2 draw against Wrexham, and I always repeat this story because I said to him, Brad, you might be right. You might be right, Brad, but I am sticking to playoffs here because I believe this team can improve, and I did tell him that on one of these post matches a few weeks ago after the Wrexham match. I said, you know what? You might be correct, but I'm not changing my prediction here because I've seen some promising things. And that performance at Wrexham was very good, if you remember. And they were even better against Leicester. And we are rowing in the right direction. 21 games to play. We are now, if you can believe this, on January 1st, 2026, on 41 points. We are just 3 points off automatic. Just 3 points. Think about that. 3 points. 2 behind Middlesbrough, who are in third, who have lost 2 in a row, Middlesbrough, and 3 of their last 4. Middlesbrough, I keep telling you again, you cannot trust Middlesbrough in a big spot. And I've said this over and over again in several seasons. I said it against Norwich after we won that game. You cannot trust Middlesbrough in a big spot. And Middlesbrough lost at home in that game the other night. They lost at home. You cannot trust them in a big spot. And they lost again today, this time against Derby. If we can get that win against Hull on Sunday, we are absolutely in a very, very good place. It would take us to third. We could go as high as third come Sunday night, Sunday evening. There is absolutely no reason why we can't make a playoff run and why we can't finish in a very good way this season. I'm going to leave it at that. I really will. Matt has given us a comment on YouTube again, and this time he refers to Tom Ince. They've also spoken to Tom Ince. Keep hitting those hearts. Thank you so much, everybody. He said, quote, we have to make sure that we utilize the squad and the fresh legs and capitalize on the performance that we've put in. He added, this is Tom Ince adding this via Matt here with this comment, there's life in the old dog yet. Yes, there certainly is. Tom Ince, thank you for the comment, Matt, providing that from Tom Ince, who has been giving some post-match comments. And, I said this in the last post-match about Tom Ince. That 2-year contract that he got was not that bad an investment. Some people questioned it. I was wondering about it a little bit. But that 2-year contract that Tom Ince has, turning out to be working out pretty well so far this season, isn't it? And he has this in his locker. And he says, according to Matt in the quote there, there's life in the old dog yet. Certainly was today. A hat trick from the magic man of the hour, the You ORNS Watford FC man of the match, Tom Ince. Spectacular today. Could have had 5. Could have had 5 goals today. I think he has 4 or 5 on the season, though. After this one, we have some goal scorers, at least 5 or 6 of them to speak of. Semedo scored goals. Dumbia scores goals. Luka scores goals. Luza scores goals. Irangunda scores goals. Barr scores goals. I can go on and on and on. Pollock scores goals. Wow, we have a very dangerous team right now. And a squad that looks really good too. Oh my days. The final score from the Vic on this January 1, 2026. Watford 3, Birmingham 0. We started last New Year. It was actually a 3-1 defeat at QPR for us. I said it was 3-0. I want to correct that. From 2025 New Year, right? That was a 3-1 defeat at QPR. And then we ended our year last year with that win, of course, against Norwich City. Today we start the year with a 3-0 win over Birmingham. How will we end this calendar year? But more importantly than that, how will we end this championship season? To be continued and to be determined. I want to thank you, fellow Watford supporters everywhere, for listening, whether you're listening live, whether you're listening later, whether you're watching now live on the stream at youornswfc, or whether you are watching this later. I want to thank you for doing that, investing your precious time on this New Year's Day or whenever in watching and listening. That means something. I really appreciate you very much so. Please to continue to spread the word about the You ORNS Watford FC YouTube channel. And of course, You ORNS Watford FC on X and Instagram. Happy New Year to everybody watching and listening. And George comes in. Jono, man, good job from you. Happy New Year, Omar. Yours. Absolutely, Jono. Thank you for the comments you made earlier as well. Great to have you here as usual. Always appreciate each and every Watford supporter across the world, whether you're in England, around Hertfordshire, wherever you are up and down the country in England, across the UK as well, I should say as well, and anywhere around the world. Thank you for the Watford supporters for being here. Again, the final again, Watford 3, Birmingham 0 at the Vic. We get off to a great start here on New Year's Day. And of course, we are 4th in the table. Wow, just unreal. 21 of these to go. Hull up next on Sunday. And until then, from me, Omar, here in San Francisco, let's go stinging at Hull next weekend, says Matt. Yes, January 4th is the day. Can we get that win? If we can, we will be moving on up, as the song says. Happy New Year. Take care and enjoy the rest of your day, and have a bit more champagne and other bubbly and drink on the house. Take care, everybody. See you on Sunday.